Hello everyone, love and respect. It's me, Roxanne Grinage, Ezekiel and Ariel's grandma, and now Grace and Shamuel Grinage's grandma as well. Today is, give me a minute, March 18th. Yeah, March 18th, 2012. It's a Sunday. And I had an inspiration sort of to do this video. The purpose of this video is to, one, just let anybody who might be interested in meeting me and my daughter at the Family Preservation DC rally on the west lawn of the Capitol building, let them know that we're going to be there. And on August 21st, we're going to come over to the west lawn of the Capitol building. We're going to actually arrive August 20th at the beginning of the event. However, we're not affiliated with the planning of the event or the people planning the event. We are, in fact, going to Washington, D.C. to hand deliver to the Department of Justice, 950 Pennsylvania Avenue, the due diligence, the case studies, the evidence verified as due diligence to the Department of Justice of what's now 2002 and growing, but at the time, 2000, federal crime victims created by official corruption, fraud, and civil rights crimes verified, and how those case studies, both the measuring of the characteristics of the victim pool and measuring the modus operandi, deliberate records mismanagement, the docket analysis and commentary, and utilizing the collaborative learning and reporting capabilities of the free and low-cost internet technologies, how 11 new federal laws are birthed, proposed, innovation in resonating with the current presidential administration's initiative to out-innovate, out-educate, be the best we can be on a global market. So our work, as we're scrambling in an environment that seeks to use traditional labeling of traditionally evolved oppressive mechanisms, systems and mechanisms that have been documented by many groups, nonprofit groups, community development groups, and just basically qualified and morally conscious people to have become perverted, to be out of control. The system is unaccountable. The people who leverage the system and have control of the system to work the leverages and the little levers, to pull the levers and to click the gears that turn off and affect another gear, have no accountability to those families and small business owners that they impact, that their lack of work ethic, synergy, and intent, either be good or malintentioned, do impact, okay? Or it could just be from negligence. So we have, for the last 3 years now, demonstrated a 12-year standard access practice model. Standard access for what? For who? For the worldwide population of disadvantaged creators, and we extended it to recognizing that the federal crime victim has voter constituency clout. The federal crime victim is the result of a crime victim resulting from felony crimes perpetrated of theft of person, theft of commerce, forced commerce, contracts, fraud of identification documents, identity theft, unlawful attachments, and so on, so that their U.S. economy, enriching careers contribution never finds its way to market. And as a society, as an economy, we are deficient and suffering lower quality of life as a result. And we seek higher lyrics, administrative solutions. Roxanne Grinage, my demeanor, seeks to focus on solutions. To, once we recognize a challenge, an obstacle, to focus on forging that particular tool which builds on existing knowledge tools with humility and respect, recognizing how things are working right now and recognizing how things are changing, the different agendas of the different markets. Litigation is an industry. Politics is an industry. Lobbying groups is an industry. So whoever is in control at the time, being able to if it's the presidential administration or his choice of law enforcement or the U.S. Senate or Congress, we need to understand and keep a handle on what their agendas and how they're moving, because our challenge is, who do we report this evidence gathering, depositions, and expert witness testimony to? Who do we report the verified claim of pro se federal crime of federal crime victims who are now financially devastated? Who do we report it to that they were the victim of conflict of interest attorneys? So we recognize the various reporting venues. So if you meet me and my daughter on the west lawn of the Capitol building at Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. on Saturday, I'm going to have these packages, forms packages, that I keep talking about, and I have published at my website. It's Pro Se Document Production Option 1, we call it, for pro se litigants. And that is to just show that you don't have to hire anyone to do for yourself what you can do as an American citizen. If you're an American, you're living here, you're making economy contribution. But if you're living here, you're making contributions here. You're making contributions to your community. You're making contributions to the economy. So regardless of what your status is, if you're physically here, we are in synergy and affected by us all being here. Higher Lyrics has a slogan, support with all your might those teachers who cause learning. We are more alike than we are different. So once we recognize that as soon as we encounter each other, and now the free and low cost collaborative abilities of the internet technologies, the social networking sites, domain ownership, search engine, spider submission, SEO, all this stuff, it allows you to, we're going to encounter people that in the physical we may never meet, but we have transactions. Look at e-commerce. You're able to shop and buy and have transactions online that show up in the physical, where you need to believe and understand that your impact and interface with another human being, right? Their life experience, what they contribute to you, and even if it's just one conversation, a consultation, a collaboration, they don't have to necessarily sign and go into a client service relationship with you. They don't have to necessarily be affiliated with you. As we are in this, I used to call it a fight for our lives, but we're coming away, the momentum is coming away from the combative fight aspect to more of a collaborative, strategizing litigation plan. So where we recognize we must be flexible, we must always be responsible, and we must be compliant to existing processes and venues. We need to understand what those venues are, all right? And none of us went to school for 6 years or whatever it is that it takes to be a bar association attorney. And if we do go and become a bar association attorney, then we become bound by the same constraints that have caused the bar association as a corporate entity, those people working for them, to be more loyal to the corporate agenda of the bar association than to the states and the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So what we can do is we can look at our backpacks, we can look and see what's available to us as financially devastated federal crime victims created by official corruption, fraud, and civil rights, and we can see that our strongest asset, our strength, is in our ability to collaborate, to share information. Okay? So this is what I'm gonna I wanted to show you this too. I'm turning this on now, my digital recorder. This Dragon software. If you ever worked in a law office or many offices that transcribe a lot of tapes, a lot of dictation, you're already aware of this technology. Dragon is the name brand, but there's speech to text software that the attorneys or the executive can dictate into their digital recorders, right? And it goes into the network in a digital transcription bank where the secretary sees it, types up the document as a draft, or gets it ready for her executive signature, or his or her executive signature. And it's also being used now by many law firms to create transcripts. So this is what I am suggesting as a tool. This is a solution, right? Look around, see what's available to you, right? And most times it's getting our tools together. What are we going to pack in our backpack? So what I'm packing in my backpack is the digital recorder that this software will read the text from the audio file that it creates as an MP3. So I get your comments, your statements, your verifications, my commentary on here, what I have verified, my discovery, my research, what I've verified, your docket numbers, right? And then we the first and last names of the real flesh and blood people, tracking them, and so on. We get whatever it is your claims are, right, on a recording. And now, instead of sitting there and backpedaling and wondering what do they say and wasting a lot of time and not having it in a form where we can file it as an exhibit into a court as a transcript, or in a Department of Justice Form 95 claim for damages caused by a federal agency, we need to get our oral statements, our oral arguments, our oral presentations, our witness testimony. We are crime victim witnesses. Our neighbors are witnesses. Our family member are witnesses. The notes in the Bible, the Holy Quran, the Torah, they are witness testimony, all right? The people who died of a broken heart, the people who witnessed a child being torn from his mother, or a lie being told, something wasn't true. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an accounting going on. There is an accounting going on. It's not Roxanne Grinage doing the accounting. It's our society. Human evolution is moving towards self-empowerment, self-sufficiency, and taking responsibility for what we are doing to each other and our planet, which are one in the same. My work and my path is I want to talk about the Dragon software, and I'm also going to have this with me when I'm down in Washington, D.C. Many of people, when I encounter them, they say, "Oh, Roxanne, here, take my documents, take my paperwork." So this is the portable scanner. It's a little this is the Viewpoint Magic Wand portable scanner. So you're able to, remember, I always say get your pictures. So along with your docket analysis and your reporting on what you did file, once you did file a pro se lawsuit in forma par paris or whatever about the truth and facts that occur, your complaints about what happened to your family through corruption between a Department of Human Services employee, a federally funded agency, or an immigration practitioner. By the way, we're going to have in our forms package, I'm going to use this, let me finish that thought. I'm going to use this to scan anything that anybody wants to give me. Pick the scans into JPEG format. Your documents, it scans pictures, and get this, it scans surfaces. So when you see the Constitution written on the wall of a building, or you see a mission and purpose statement at the Department of Human Services to protect, defend, and take care of people, you can prove in a court of law that this particular management is functioning adversely and in conflict of interest to their very own mission statement, which thereby defrauds the funding source. All right, and who do you report that to? We're going to have informs how to do a certified letter notice, how to do a letter notice using a cost-effective letter notice using the internet technologies and discovering the official contact forms, and then publishing it that you did it, and how to publish locked PDFs that are easily to be opened by, described by link, and publish text that goes aggressively out into the search engine, so that kidnap for profit children of all ages, because this is a problem for the aging and elderly and disabled as well. It's not just children. Anyone who has some billability for a Department of Human Services contractor is targeted for kidnap for profit or forced commerce. That includes small business owners, elderly, disabled. The first thing, the modus operandi of the official corruption assailant is to deliberately through records mismanagement and records fraud, falsification of identification documents, trespass on jurisdiction, and claim that they have a right to impose, quote, services where there is no right. We're going to have in the forms package the legal notice and warning, violation of rights under color of law. We're going to show how we used it to protect my newborn grandson in the hospital from DHS kidnap in the hospital anticipated, and how that worked. We're going to talk about where we're at right now, having given legal notice and warning to corrupt Philadelphia judges after proving in federal dockets that they attempted murder, false arrest, multiple false arrests, and tyranny, and that they continue targeting Grinage family grandchildren, in this case Grayson Grinage, for kidnap for profit. And the way they do it is falsification, fraud of identification documents, which defrauds child support and mutilates people's identity, and defrauds CPS funding sources. Okay, and basically it's a criminal act. It's a RICO, racketeering, influence, corrupt organization, criminal act. We're going to talk about the in our forms you're going to see some of our case studies. We're going to talk about the measurement of success. We're going to talk about many people say, did anybody get their kids back? Did anybody get their kids back? And then we have other people say, oh my God, I filed this pro se in motion into family court, motion to stay because of this conflict of interest, so and so. Sarah Palin appointed this judge who's letting this guy get away with beating my children because he grew up in Sarah Palin's household. And it turns out the Judge Gregory P. Heath up in Alaska is also a relative of Sarah Palin, and of course a family friend of Michael Ponte, who caused the brain injuries to the children, and how OCS, Office of Children's Services, the DHS CPS entity, utilizes the division between families to kidnap the children for profit and billability while they continue exacerbating injury. So the measurement of success would be to report that Shannon Sillock of the Sillock family in Inuit Alaska State in Alaska has won her right to present pro se after filing affidavit, motions to intervene, get rid of 2 OPA, Office of Public Advocacy, conflict of interest attorneys who work for OCS and DHS and the corrupt judges. Then there's SNRO v. Flannery, a father who's actually in Florida. We're going to talk about jurisdictions, how this is a national issue because no one being exempt, no profession. We're going to talk about how a father who's actually in Florida is suffering victimization, corruption by Judge Gleason, Sharon Gleason, and how his daughter is being abused and at highest risk of danger for because of conflict of interest, because his sister-in-law, Flannery, has more clout as a partner in a Washington, D.C. law firm attorney to get her way for her sister, regardless of what's best for the child, SNRO's child. And we're going to show how we are showing in his case study page, his affidavit to the FBI. Let me just